Lothersdale is one of the less well-known areas of the Yorkshire Dales. It lies to the south of Skipton rather than the north, like most of the Dales, but is just as beautiful. Arriving in the Dale coming from Skipton, you first see the old mill chimney and pass the parish church on your right going down the hill. The road continues up the valley, passing the parish hall and the mill on your left, and pub on your right. There are cottages along the road and then a pond on your right, which feeds the beck through the village. Most of the houses are along the road, and as you go further, you pass the school and the Methodist chapel and graveyard on the right, and come to the end of the houses before the road heads up a hill. If you want to stay in the village, there are a few holiday cottages, and part of the mill has been renovated into lets which can be hired out. The beck passes down the valley from the pond past the mill, which used to use it to power its large water wheel, and is an easy walk from the village centre. The path goes through fields and trees, and there are several circuits of different lengths you can do before returning to the village. The shortest is to cross the beck by a footbridge by a ford and water treatment works, and head up the hill to the road and walk back down the road to the village. If you want to find out more about walks in the village, there is a local book which you can pick up at the pub. This describes the main features of the village and history, and has a second section which describes the good walks you can do, with maps to illustrate them. It says it has been written not so much to encourage visitors to come, but if they do come, to know where they can walk without upsetting the locals and farmers. The village lies on the Pennine Way, and this is what will bring many of the visitors to the valley. Walkers can stop at the pub for a pint of beer and some good food before continuing on their walk. There's not much parking in the village, but the pub has some spaces for anyone coming for refreshments by car. The Pennine Way path comes from the Oakworth direction into the valley, then heads out the other side towards Gargrave. Walking up the path south from the Dale, it goes up steeply, and you can see the village laid out below, with the mill chimney its main landmark. There's a bench at the top of the hill, then passes a small hamlet before heading off south across the fields. You'll need a map to find your way any further. If you take a right at the top of the hill, the track leads you to Sidegate Lane. This is a very steep single-track lane that goes out of the valley towards Colne. I didn't drive it, so I can't say how easy it is to drive, but it might be tricky if you meet a tractor. At the top of the village there's a track that takes you to Raygill. This was the site of a quarry and now some lakes for fishing. Driving above the valley on the Colne-Carlton Road, there are good views across the Dale. There's a small parking area where you can walk to the Pinhor Beacon trig point and look over into Lothersdale. Alternatively, you could walk to the trig point from the village below on the Pennine Way. While we were staying, a walking race called the Spine Race was being held along the Pennine Way, and many seasoned walkers were passing through the village as they did this endurance event. For further information about the Dale, there is a 1975 documentary by Michael Parkinson on YouTube, a drone flyover and some videos taken inside of the mill, where you can see the huge wooden mill wheel. If you want to look around the mill, the current owner can do tours for a small price. Lothersdale is somewhere I didn't know much about before, but it's certainly worth a look, and provides some excellent walking in beautiful surroundings, and a good pint of beer at the pub if you're passing through.